It's the 4 o'clock Shadow Show. Oh, yeah. We're back, baby. And silence. It is indeed the 4 o'clock Shadow Show. And how are you today? Wow, we had about an hour ago some little thundering, little rain and whatnot. Thought I was going to get to go out tonight because it's clear now. Uh, Earlier today there was a big thud, a big boom. I was like, "What fell?" I The previous day I'd already taken a big branch that had just broken out of the tree. These are branches that if they hit you, they will hurt you or possibly kill you. They're so big. I drug the first one around front, and evidently, maybe the little bit of rain, the heaviness, the rottenness of, I really need to have that back tree trimmed as well as probably all my trees. But anyway, we have Caleb Reynolds in the house. Yes, I am back. Woohoo! Woo! Shadowhawk in the chat. It's good to see you, my friend. All hail the mighty Shadowhawk, my co-host. But yeah, I have a concrete platform there that's just been there, and I always thought it would be nice to put some wrought iron chairs, wrought iron little round table. It's not. It's a little shed area that used to be there. Uh, Probably got pelted with big branches and damaged, and maybe they did away with it. I don't know. The concrete's there; it's pristine. It's not cracked or anything. So seasoned concrete. Whoever put that in there did it right. And yeah, I had a big branch. I meant to take a picture of it, and just got caught up with other things. Uh, but yeah, there's another big branch out there that fell, and I heard that about, I don't know, 10, 11:30 today, this morning, fall out of the tree and big thud. And I was like, what's that? Something fell in my yard. And right at the edge, the back edge of my property, hit that concrete. I could hear it all the way in the house, a big, big thud, big, big trees. All my trees are big except for the little oriental tree, which is slow growing. Uh, Amazon just took over. I was perusing the news earlier on my new iPhone 13. And welcome to the show, my co host. Oh, we got a ding. What's that about? Shadowhawk.
Hey, what's up, Rex? Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just reading this from the secretary. She's still talking like we're going to
Ah,
go out tonight. Please tell the drivers to stay on the pavement, no straying off course into ditches or somebody's yard. Uh, but we're not going out tonight, correct? Mixed signals. You know all about that, don't you, Shadowhawk? Big signals. I mean, that just may be something Jim's, which is my boss, wants to
Well,
convey.
shoot.
Please, what? Bang,
Oh, there you are. You were froze up for
bang,
a minute.
bang.
That,
You might be on a little delay. I don't know. Yeah, I switched to the little white ones here. I think I've got audio sort of muted in one of the ones on the black one. Uh, so I went to this, and I think I got better audio with the white ones. We might go with the white ones for a little while. Hello, fellows. Omer Glitch in the house. I'm running late to
hey,
my
Owen.
own show. That's a bad sign. Running late to his own show.
Oh,
But how's the weather been up there around you? Because we've gotten, storm warnings, 100% chance of rain, blah, 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 for weeks now. And it seems to be mostly bypassing us. But it's kept
yeah,
cooler. It's kept it cooler.
it's been raining and cool so far this year. We haven't had but a couple of warm days yet.
She says, "No, you're going out tonight. This man is driving me crazy." Yeah. Yeah. First, we're not going out. Now we're going out. So I get to work tonight. Woo!
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Take it to the bank. Give it to the artist or whatever. Give it to the printer. I talked to the printer today. I can show you here in just a minute. If I can get it off the secretary here. Somebody will misconstrue that and said Rex was on the secretary. Wait, no. My daughter said in a text, that she was. I said, "Did you two take today off?" I texted her about Memorial Day. They own their own business. He does like auto repair or something. She works in the office, which is really nice. So our grandson can, be there in the office with her, while she does paperwork and answers the phone and stuff like that. So they own their own business there in Hot Springs. And she said, we made a rookie move and scheduled people for today. Why won't do that next year, with a little laugh emoji. But I had to stay home with kids because Theo's school, which is her older son, about 2 years old, was out today. The business phone did not ring once. And she says, which was nice because I didn't have to juggle the phone with the kids for once. And earlier today, I said, I didn't know you could juggle. and she said, ha, ha, ha. What was I looking for?
Yeah, you can juggle babies. I think it's just frowned upon.
I know, right? Especially when they get about 2 years old, the legs get in the way. You almost have to hold them up,
I could swing them around like a bowling pin, grab them by the leg and.
Speaking of sports,
May the Schwartz be with you.
may the Schwartz be with you. Yeah. Yesterday, I don't know if you knew it, but it was like the 49th anniversary of the release of Star Wars, of a lot of those Star Wars movies yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, I did a show last night kind of highlighting that on from Retro News on X, had all that information about the different releases. They tend to do it about the same time every year, especially with Star Wars. It becomes a big event,
Yeah, well, they always have, what is it, May the 4th is like a dedicated day to or whatever.
Yeah. May the 4th be with you, whoever came up with that. Dan Lawless came in last night. I mean, not on the show, but he was in the chat, chatting it up.
That's cool.
Hadn't seen Dan in a while. Nice to see him. Rob Ewing. Let's see. I did talk to Rob yesterday about what I was going to have him do. He is going to be one of my main artists this year, if not my main artist that I go to. I'm doing some things. I gave him a color job, for the if you ordered the sticker book. I think you did, Shadowhawk. I think you did.
Um, I did what?
I think you ordered the sticker book, the Momentum Universe sticker book.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get the Cortex sticker from 6 a.m. free with that. And you also get this Hopper sticker, but I said I need that colored. So he's going to color that for the sticker book, and you'll be getting a
Cool.
die cut sticker that looks like that, done by Rob Giving. But I said I just that one was never colored, so let's start with that. You can start coloring that because I did pay Rob off, and he's got nothing but praise for me right now because I paid him off. Good PR. It's amazing how gushy that these artists. I got a clock block, uh, y'all. Okay, well I know Omer Glid schedules his 6 months ahead of time. He's got hump days all the way to 2030 scheduled.
Holy shit.
I'm kidding, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Uh, Something I saw in the news earlier today, Shadowhawk, Amazon just took over iPhone satellite service.
Oh, really? Huh.
Bezos, yeah, Bezos. So I wonder how that's going to work. So there's a little Apple uh, iPhone satellite connection there. Predator 7 in the house. Hello, what's up?
What's up,
Uh,
Prater?
Shigama. Shigama. Let me turn my volume down. I have it all the way up, and Shadow can get loud there a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I had to take these out to play my trailer with. I probably blew everybody away with that trailer. If the volume
No,
was there.
actually, there was no sound on the trailer, actually.
No sound. I've got to figure that out. I'm playing these trailers without any sound. How exciting is that? Uh,
Yeah,
Unless it's
I was
like
getting ready to
Charlie
type
Sun.
you a message in the chat and let you know you had no sound, and then all of a sudden you turned your mic back on or whatever. I don't know what happened, but then I could hear you.
Yeah, but you couldn't ever hear any part of the trailer, huh?
No, it was just visual.
Wasn't Gushy a character on Quantum Leap? Laugh out loud.
Gushy?
Gushy? Don't remember Gushy. Sounds like he's joking there. I don't know. I know. I read. Oh shoot! I can't. I can't. It wasn't Quantum Leap. It was something. It was. They were kind of nerds. It ran for about 10 seasons.
Oh,
Uh,
Big Bang?
Big Bang Theory. Yeah, I never can think of that because I don't think I've ever watched one episode of that. When it started coming out on DVD, I didn't buy into it. Although it was interesting, they were wearing like Flash shirts or Green Lantern or something. Now, I
Right.
kind of got the gist of it just by the
What's up,
look
Vic?
of it. Uh, the Ninja Ginkgo in the house.
Hey, Jenko. Jenko.
She was a character that was back in the future. I think we only saw him once, but the hologram, always reference him.
I never watched a whole lot of that show. I saw a few here and there, but yeah, not enough to be real familiar with it.
Well, I bought all 5 seasons of it, and I've watched it all. Quantum Leap, if that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but it was a good show. I didn't. I watched some of it back in the day when it was on, NBC, I believe it was. But uh, yeah, I bought the whole collection. I bought season 2 first, so I've got an extra season 2 of it. But I bought the complete collection a few years ago, and
Okay.
finally got around to watching all of it, and it was good by and large. I enjoyed it.
That's
I
good.
was a major Quantum Leap nerd. Yeah. laughing his ass off. Yeah. If I do that, I slip out of the chair. I can't do that on this show. All you see is knuckles hanging onto the hutch. Help me! Uh, yeah, there's some remakes being made. I read the other day. I don't think I shared it with you, Shadowhawk. I don't think you were on when I was talking about it. Arnold Schwarzenegger revising his role of Conan with King Conan at 78 years old. He's Mr.
Yeah,
Sag
yeah,
Drag, if you've ever seen him with his shirt off at poolside. It's pretty sad to see how he's deflated. You know, I
yeah.
think
Well,
he's a
he's
pretty
probably
tall
off the
guy,
juice.
about 6'5" or something. He's pretty tall.
Who, Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, isn't he about 6'5"?
No, I think he's
No.
like right around 6 foot or so.
Okay,
Uh,
that
Lou
makes sense.
Ferrigno was Lou
Lou.
Ferrigno was pretty tall, but
Well, maybe that's who I'm thinking of was Lou Ferrigno.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I was kind of disappointed though at the time of the Incredible Hulk that it came out that Lou Ferrigno was doing it and not Schwarzenegger. Because I mean, and maybe the thing of it was back then he was very thick with the accent, the Austrian accent.
Yeah,
Even in Terminator, he's like I'll be back. He's still like that, but very thick European accent. But back then in the 70s, it definitely was. He played Hercules in a movie in the 70s. There were a few things he did. He did some kind of was he on Blazing Saddles? He did a Western comedy. I know. Maybe it wasn't Blazing Saddles.
oh yeah, I forget what that one was called. It was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
I got
everybody up
a spam
against
call coming in.
Andre the Giant would look small, right?
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
if
you
you're
can put
if
anybody
if
next to
you're
him.
happy we're back daily, give a thumbs up. Give us a like. Share us out. Get those uh, get those views up there. Uh, Here's our analytics. I've been streaming more than of late. Of course, look at that. We were limping along doing nothing. Even that looks like it's got a little to it, but not very many broadcasts, and we're on the climb now.
There you
We're
go.
on the climb. Yeah. Can you see that okay on the
Got to
screen?
get back to the groove.
Yeah. Yeah, because we went from thousands of views and thousands of watch time hours to zero nearly. Those those 2 minute
Yeah,
broadcasts just weren't cutting it. But it is what
yeah.
it
It's
is.
amazing people.
Yeah, and shout
It's
out to
amazing
you and
people how
Oliver
that.
for kind of keeping us alive, in the minds of people while I was uh, MI. And I kept thinking just about every day, my thing that I said all the time, Shadowhawk, I'll be around after a lot of these son of a bitches are gone. And then here I
Yeah,
am. I disappear for months. But it wasn't, says Arnold was in a Western called The Villain of Cactus Jack. That's right. Yep. Or called The Villain. Well, I think he was in there with Kirk Douglas. I think Kirk Douglas
yeah. I
was in
think Kirk Douglas was like the
there. Yeah.
main bad guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
all dressed in
Mhm.
black.
The guy that on the SCTV that used to play Guy Caballero, John Flaherty, I think was his
Yeah,
name, and he died a year or so. He looked like Count Chocula, and that
yeah, yeah.
oh
He used to. Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Oh,
uh, oh shoot, they did so many skits. Yeah,
yeah.
Kirk Douglas, Kirk Douglas. He would do Kirk Douglas. You know, they put the little dimple there in his chin.
Right.
He was all kind of manic, almost like William Shatner overacting, or whatever. Like I don't know what you mean, whatever. But he was
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas, and do the expressions. That was so funny. I loved
Yeah.
SCTV. I think I love Fridays with uh, uh, Richard what's his name that played Kramer. I
Uh,
never watched any Seinfeld though.
what's his last name? Is it Michaels? No,
Yeah,
Richard.
yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, Michael Richards. Michael Richards.
Michael Richards. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Michael Richards. He's a funny guy. You know, he kind of got into some racial banter with some people
Yeah,
that
he
were
got in
after
trouble.
him. He got in trouble. He got canceled. He was one of those early people that got canceled. Uh, you know, we
Yeah,
used
he's
to.
got so much money from Seinfeld, though it don't matter.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was doing like bit pieces
Hey,
in
Janet from
movies.
another planet is here. Hey, Janet.
Hey, Janet. I was thinking about Janet. I've been thinking about Janet the last couple of days. Um,
And your Rex is frozen again. Now you're back.
hey, it may freeze me for just a second, but I'll be back. Uh, it doesn't. It kind of does that. It's kind of glitchy, a little bit. But Hal Deer's supposed to mail that mini PC to me, and it sounds like a good one. He gave me the specs on it last night on the last night show. I think I'm going to put these on. My eyes are dry. I've been watching a lot of TV
That's
off
cool.
and on. Uh, but yeah, I've been thinking about Janet and her cosplaying, and I still got have to get her reference for cosplaying because I would like her to do. Maybe she could. I could get her to do a barbarian girl or something, you know, for the John Buscema book for the John Buscema
Oh, yeah.
issue.
Maybe.
Uh, you know, but with that book, I may want to just go big and launch on Bancrofts or see who else would be willing to launch me. You know, see who's got a big enough channel to really make
Right.
a splash, maybe within the community. Because I think a lot of people would you 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 know you launch and you have success and stuff, but you think, man, everybody knows this book out there, and you can't take that for granted. I learned that with the ash can. You just cannot take that for granted whatsoever.
Yeah.
That people
Yeah,
know what's going on in your sphere, what you're doing.
well, you got so many choices of things on the internet to watch. It's easy to overlook
That's
things.
true. Yeah, like us
Yeah.
daily.
Hey, look over here.
That's the only reason I'm got that new. I know you don't like orange and cream, but man, this is so much flavorful. It's the Pure Kick,
Uh
and of course, Pure Kick's got some
huh.
caffeine in it. I didn't realize that. I didn't read the box. All those boxes I've got now, I never saw that it had caffeine. Eventually, I got to looking at it. It's like, oh, these have caffeine in them, a small amount, whatever. That's why they call it Pure Kick. Yeah, I guess. Uh, but yeah, I talked to the printers today, and okay, the magnet. Let me show you that. That's what I wanted to, Callie.
Oh, yeah.
I was just, I've got a version where it says zigzag in red there, and I said no, let's leave that out. The dimensions did change on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, okay, wait a minute. I got to go to my email for that Gmail to read that to look at that. Okay, here. So here is. Yeah, let's see. Well, if I blow it up, you can't see the whole thing, but here we go. Janet's comment off there. Just give it a minute to. So she put the momentum concepts in there, and I said, let's leave that off. And then I thought better of that. Let's go with the branding and go ahead and put it on there. So what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. It fits in there too. Pretty good. So,
I think she said that. Yeah, I thought that would otherwise would be a blank space. So I said, okay, let's go with that. I trust you, to make the
right.
right design decision. Uh, I don't think it looks bad. Uh, I still had to send her an image of the bog bookmark, the front of the bog bookmark, because apparently my first attempt didn't go through. So I had to get in there and do that. Uh, we initially discussed a 4 and a quarter by 3.5, a magnet size.
Right.
But the image is ideal for 3 by 5.
Oh,
So actually,
okay.
she kind of cut it down just lengthwise, I think, or something. I don't know. So we went with that 3 by 5. So the magnet will be 3 by 5.
Yeah, that's a
Pretty
pretty
good,
good sized magnet.
pretty good size magnet. Yeah, for everybody.
Yeah.
Like I said, they were $2 a piece. So, and I did 100 of them, so that's $200. But I don't care what I spend on this campaign. If I have some extras left over, like I did with the ash can, I'll just do something else with them eventually.
Yeah.
Send
You
them
can
out.
always
Now that we put Momentum Concepts on there, it's a good advertising thing. Uh, but uh, yeah, I've got to resend her that so that she can do the bookmarks. I think she'll have half the magnets done today and the other half tomorrow, which is pretty quick, I guess, once she gets
oh
done
yeah.
with that's what she needs. I imagine she has to run those off and it has an adhesive and I had to put it on the magnet and then cut it. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I guess they have to apply it, right? Like glue it to the magnet somehow and then cut them down and
3 by 5 magnet, that may be the largest magnet made in comicdom in
uh
crowdfunding.
I got I don't know. Let me take a look. I got a couple of pretty good sized ones, but I don't know if
Yeah.
any of them are that big.
Well, three
Uh,
by five. Well, think about that 3 by 5 card, right? Size, ruled card size. That is pretty big.
uh, I think cards are like 2.5 by 3, something like that.
What is
But
that? Rare.
yeah, I'm looking at all my. The only one that comes even close to that looks like Andy Smith's first band from the first campaign. That looks
Mhm.
like it's about. That might be 3 by 4, maybe.
Well, go big or go home, right? I mean, that'll take up uh, a lot of refrigerator space. Should
That's
make
right. Take,
should make Amanda B very happy because she likes magnets, and,
yeah,
and it'll
so do I.
and it'll be the same quality thickness probably as the other. I don't know, but I imagine it'll be
Yeah,
pretty
those
good
came out
quality.
nice.
Yeah,
The original
those.
one.
If you have difficulty getting it off the metal surface, it's a good magnet.
Right. Yeah, you got to kind of wrench it off later.
Yeah, you got to kind of pry it off. Yeah. Whoops, my freezer door came off. Rex did too good a job. You can pick your car up with that,
Change
if you have a small
the
one.
tire.
Have you seen those things that look like assault vehicles? They're all, what do they call those? Big, expensive. They look like a tank. You know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like the cube. It's very distinctive. Big, big
Wait a
vehicle.
minute.
Looks like an
But
armored vehicle out of Road Warrior.
I don't know. I'm not sure, Rex. I missed about
Okay.
half of you.
I mean, it's all geometric. It looks like an assault vehicle that people are driving around.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where's the Tesla Cybertruck? That one's pretty geometric looking.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was a truck or not. I mean, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, he came out with a new design for the newer models. It looks a lot better. That first one was just weird looking to me.
well, it's like a trike. When you see a trike running down the street, you're like, whoa, very distinctive looking. It is distinctive looking, but who would want to drive one of those? And yet
Yeah,
I parked
I
next
got a
to one. I mean,
few people around here that I see on the road, but not
oh
many.
yeah, yeah, right. I mean, they're probably pretty expensive, right?
I imagine now all the little electric cars are pretty expensive.
Yeah. Is that fully electric or is that a hybrid? I wonder.
Uh, they might make both, but I think it's fully electric.
Hmm. I can't imagine that something that bulky running around and being fully electric. Can you imagine? I mean, it takes you like for a regular, and that's I use that term loosely, electric car. It takes you about 45 minutes to charge it. How many people have about an hour to charge up to refuel? I mean, with gasoline, I'm like boom, boom, in, out, within 10 minutes, 5 minutes,
Right.
whatever, quick, and I'm
Well,
paying
I
by
guess if
cash.
you got the electric car, you just got to get in the habit of plugging it in right when you get home or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, but I mean, how much a charging station at home? I mean, I don't guess it in installation because you're running off the house electricity that's already wired. But man, I mean, can you imagine your electric bill every month with something like that?
Yeah, no kidding.
I just
Well,
don't
they
think
said
it's
when
very.
they had quite a few fires from those things too in the first few years when they started doing all those home installation ones.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I imagine the thing, heats up. Once it's fully charged. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
well, probably like any
I
kind of bad.
I can't remember how many hundreds of millions of dollars. It was like maybe 250 something million that under Biden spent, and they built 8 charging stations. They were going to put them nationwide, and I
Oh
heard
yeah,
people like Mark Levin at the time saying, "Do the numbers, do the math. There's no way he can do nationwide. He won't even get close to that. Nothing." And I just have to. I think everything under Biden was a cash grab, pretty much. I mean, that
yeah,
if Cecil
pretty
hadn't done
much.
it
Yeah,
first, I mean, Biden would have come up behind him. I mean, it was a cash grab. Everything, the Ukraine, everything was a cash grab. Uh, and I mean, can you imagine that you worked for almost 50 years at a company, and you're waiting for that moment, that big cash, flow. You not that he wasn't doing anything before that, but then and he's just mentally not there. He's not mentally there to see the big payout every day. I
yeah,
mean, his son from his artwork getting quite a bit just from right there. And then China, and yeah, I'm sure he got a lot of money from China. I mean, you don't have balloons go over the military installations.
yeah,
You know, I think some states were trying to, you know, they were wanting to shoot the balloons down, and federal was saying no, 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 and then wait till it gets out over the Atlantic and shoot it down. Say, see, I did it after they've gotten all their information. China.
yeah, exactly.
Is that how you spell it now? China.
Yeah, that's the Trump way.
That's the Trump right. Yeah. China. Do a little dance. Doc's dance yesterday looked like maybe he got that from Trump, dancing up on stage.
Yeah,
How'd your barbecue, your grilling come out yesterday?
no, it came out good. Just had some thin like sandwich sticks. I seasoned them
Uh-huh.
up, and then they only took like God 3 minutes aside on the grill or something. Man, I had my grill nice and hot, and
Uh-huh.
came out super tender and tasty.
You come over to my house, I'll give you some steakums.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like grilling.
Yeah. Well, steakums, you can't put those things in the microwave. It becomes rubber, becomes tire
Oh
tread.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
something that
That's
we saw a lot of on our way over there to West Memphis the other day to drop off a couple of our spray trucks to be repaired. There were 3 of us
uh,
go over there, and another one, with the return truck. We all rode back in that. Um, we saw a lot of tire tread. My father-in-law who drove truck, a gas truck. In fact, that was the gas truck that I turned over with him in on my daughter's
right.
adopted daughter's 11th birthday. 2,000 gallons of gas we turned over. And we we located another truck and eventually made the run. Uh, wasn't a very good truck with very good brakes. You need to have good brakes. I'm just saying
Yeah.
with a gas truck. But I could see there was a hole in there about this big where I was sitting. I could
Oh,
see the road lines going by
yeah.
when he crossed the road line. Uh,
Yeah. When I was in high school, I had a buddy of mine that had an old, I forget what it was. It was some kind of Ford or something. But the whole
mhm.
passenger seat floorboard was basically rotted out. He had like 4 floor mats piled up on top of there. And you could, like, if you put your foot on it, you could feel it. Like if you pushed hard enough, it would just go right out the bottom of the car.
Yeah, yeah. I forget the last time I drove something that didn't have power brakes or power steering. I can't remember what it was, but that reminded me I hadn't driven one in a while, and I drove one, and I was like, "Wow, man, you got to really force and turn this thing. You got to really
Oh, yeah.
push on that brake, and you don't brake immediately like with power brakes. It's driving used to be an effort,
Yeah.
with most vehicles without
Yeah. I learned that the hard way.
power. Yeah,
We
I've
had
turned
a,
over. One thing I've not done is flip. Now
yeah, I've
there was
never
one
done that.
time
Thank God.
when I fishtailed my Blazer 12 times. I was
Uh-huh.
doing a little handiwork with the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I was counting it. Look, if you panic, you're gonna die
Right.
or a possibility of getting hurt, right? So I always stay cool. I was like 1, 2, 3. I actually counted 12 times. I fishtailed that thing till I got it
Wow.
back up on the road, and everybody was like, "You should have seen them." The oncoming traffic was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. But
They backed off because I was like, "They're
it's
like,
all over
where's
the
the
place.
camera? Are we filming? Is it Fall Guy? What the hell?" I really thought that we were going to go,
Yeah.
but somehow kept control of it and got it back up on the road. It was amazing. Uh,
Yeah, it's
I had my
difficult too once you get into a big fishtail like that in one of those SUVs, man. They're easy to tip over.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought we were going to do this, and I just kept control of it and got back on. But almost like comedic style. You see in a movie, you look at the other person, their hair's out like that.
Yeah.
I had my boss. She dropped that cell phone and grabbed that stirrup, that handle that's in a Blazer, real quick, and held on
Right.
because I just went right off the road, and I did it intentional. I really did. That's crazy. I know, but I really went off the road intentional. The week before, I had taken the wrong way out of North Little Rock, right? And
Uh,
so I had to, it seemed like drive for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles to get to a turnoff. And I said, I don't want to do this time. And I remembered, there's a police turnoff. I know you're not supposed to take those, but in that one week they put a cable up, and I was going too fast anyway. I really was. So
oh
it
shoot.
was just a crazy move. It was an impulse thing. It's like I'm not going to go. And then once I got back on, it didn't seem that far at all that we were able to go around and get back going another way. So I don't know. Apex Comics in the house. A fall guy coat in Howie. Okay, don't know what that is, but
Well, Colt was Lee Majors, right?
oh,
I don't remember who Howie
I have
was.
not seen Fall Guy in a long time.
What's up,
Lee
Apex?
Majors, Lee Majors, the former
Yep.
Big Valley and Bionic Man, of course, actor. Uh, yeah, yesterday I think was the maybe anniversary of the release of the return in the late '80s, the return of the Bionic Man and Bionic Woman special that came on TV.
Oh yeah. I remember. I don't know. Think I ever got to watch him back in the day. I missed him somehow.
Yeah.
But
Well, I know Lindsay Wagner. I've seen a picture of her with with the actress that played Wonder Woman at a convention. So they still do convention
uh,
signings and stuff.
yeah,
What's her name? What's her name? That did Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman.
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter. Yeah, She looked like my cousin.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I think I've got some pictures. You and I were going to do, I think on that one where we messed up in the EV Mux and we didn't have any sound, we were supposed to show some pictures. Uh, and this was a good segue to show you. Maybe my Linda Carter, you know, cousin is in here somewhere. Uh,
Yeah.
my aunt that was found dead. Uh,
Right.
uh, Her son went through a lot of these pictures of my uncle when he was younger, pictures that they had taken that I had seen, but I have not seen since I was probably a kid, right after they were taken. Because they lived in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And we would go see them or they would come see us and they would show us, get the pictures developed. Because used to, that was something you had to do, right? Get them developed, unless you had a
Oh yeah.
Polaroid. Uh, so
Now you remember the disposable cameras and stuff? You'd get so many pictures, and you had to take and drop off the whole camera, and then they'd give you
yeah,
back.
yeah, I've still got one of those with, that I haven't used yet. I still have one of those in there. I don't know if the film's any
Yeah,
good, but
those.
I imagine it's okay. They also had Kodak in the early '80s. I mentioned that on last night's show. The Kodak disc. Remember the Kodak disc?
Oh yeah.
But
Hmm.
it was a big thing at first, but then the negatives were so small, and the graininess, the quality wasn't there. Actually, I
Right.
think I've reported before that Kodak made the first digital camera in like '76, but they wanted to sell film and they didn't develop that technology. Others did, and they got. I mean, Kodak's almost gone now. Shadowhawk.
Really? Yeah. You don't hear like you used to. You don't see commercials or anything.
Lee Majors is 86 and living outside of Houston, Texas. I wonder where
Oh,
Sasquatch
cool.
is.
You can hang out with Artie Bear.
Yes. Oh, is he in Houston, Texas?
Artie Bear, yeah, he's just outside of
Just
Houston, a little
outside
area that
suburbia,
yeah,
probably. Yeah.
yeah, they call it the Woodlands. It's forget exactly which direction it is from Houston, but it's a pretty nice neighborhood, man. Nice houses and stuff. He's living in a fancy dad's place.
Fancy, fancy. Let's see. This is
But yeah, when he
1966.
was moving, I was watching his he was showing pictures of different houses and stuff, and I recognized the neighborhoods. I was like, oh, I've been there.
Now, I didn't meet my uncle Tom, which was the youngest. I did not realize till we got these pictures. My mother got talking to me. Uncle Tom was the youngest brother of my mother's. He was the youngest of all of them. He was kind of like the late baby that came. He was born on Christmas Eve. So
Oh,
at Christmas, we would always celebrate his birthday as well. Um, he's the one that I thought looked a little like Clint Eastwood, you know. I
right.
didn't meet him. We went out to California, I and my mother, in the summer of '69, and Brian Adams wasn't there. Just to let you know, he was up in Canada somewhere. But he was in the Navy and living on the beach somewhere in a double wide, I think it was, or a trailer. I think had it all decked out. Didn't have had beads for and bean
Wow.
bags. Didn't have any furniture. It was just a
Yeah.
young couple. My aunt and uncle living out there, living the dream. He was in the Navy. This is earlier. This is 1966, but you could see where he might favor Clint Eastwood, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Very strong features. There is in '66 in the Navy. My uncle Harold was also in the Navy.
There you
Let's
go,
go on
Apex.
location to Art T. Bear's house. Well, I don't know. You're closer there in Lubbock, Texas, than we are. You and Omer can invade his space. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. He's got a nice pool out there too. We should have a CG pool party at Artie Bear's house.
Harold. Let's see. Where's Tom in this? He might be the little baby.
Ouch.
Okay.
Ow.
This is this. This is my older uncle being goofy. Billy, he was the oldest and the first to die up here. Look at those googly eyes he's making. Let's see if I can get close enough there. See those googly eyes,
Oh
and
yeah.
in front of him there is Uncle Harold. He was the one here in the front that his bone, took the jab and his bone stopped producing blood. This is my mother back here.
Oh.
This is my mother. The opposite Billy. This is doesn't have a date on it,
Oh,
but
okay.
probably in the 50s, early 50s
Yeah,
maybe.
they had a pretty big family. How was that? Five brothers and
Well,
four
I think these are
sisters.
probably uh, maybe some. Well, I mean,
Cousins and stuff.
my mother had three brothers, and then
Gotcha.
when I went out to California to see my mother's mother, my grandmother, she had remarried and was living in California, and his name was uh, Carl Chavos, and we went to their house in California, and so there he is
Oh,
with my
okay.
mother's mother, Pearl, and that's Tom in the background, and they lived out in California, and I went to see them in '69. Nudie shot of my uncle Tom. See here, here's Grandma Pearl, my mother's mother, right in the recliner that I was sitting in today. Uh, this is 1980. 1980, and I've still got the same chair, the same lazy boy.
Oh, yeah.
That was that's you see the wood. It's got wood, uh,
Hmm.
wood arms and wood back there. Oh, here in the middle, here in the middle is the Linda Carter look-alike cousin. Does she not?
Oh, yeah. She
Yeah,
does bear a resemblance, doesn't
yeah, and that's her sister. That's not holding a child. That's her sister. She lives about 45 minutes away. And then
she? Oh,
the other one, Sherry, there holding a child off to her, whatever, is
her
she
left.
lives here in town. She's a part time nurse. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, there's Pearl sitting in what was Dad's first lazy boy, and I've still got that. I think no, this is that after another place, but yeah, that lazy boy is at least 1980. You know, but yeah, she was a beauty queen. Uh,
oh,
won the county fair as the queen. But yeah, she looked a lot like Linda Carter, I thought, back in the day. Very nice features.
must have just hacked something.
And there's my cousin in the recliner that I still sit in today, howbeit it be getting worn out and broken down. But
Right.
they really made those things to last back then, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had
Uh,
my dad's
this is
lazy boy for 15 years after I left the house. I took it everywhere with me.
the lady with the present here is my aunt that was found dead in December, and then next to her is Delia. She passed away. A cousin of mine, uh, a great cousin, I guess you could say. But yeah, that was Tom's wife right there.
Yeah,
Sorry,
look at that plaid couch. Woohoo.
yeah, plaid couch. Yeah, yeah. Here's a graduation picture of Melissa, my cousin, who is Linda Carter's sister. She's a beauty herself. But just didn't have that hair like Linda Carter. There's the young budding artist there with one of his paintings behind him. That's me. 1986, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
70s plaid couch, yeah. A little bit like Linda Carter. She needs to wear one Wonder Woman outfit. Nice big family, played kids, chores, CG pool party at RT Bears, yeah. Navy Clint Eastwood. And here I am with Linda, Uncle Harold's. wife. She was originally from up in Michigan, and me on a motorcycle. How about that?
Oh, look at there.
I guess I took that thing for a spin.
Just trying to see what kind it was. Couldn't tell. Looked like a Honda.
Yeah, and this is Tom and my cousin Sherry on one of his cycles there. Maybe you know what that is. What kind of cycle? It's got a high seat on the back. Here's Rex man spreading really bad in blue jeans. Man spread. There's my Uncle Tom sitting in that same recliner that I still have. And then Uncle Harold next to him. This is a look at our old living room here. Look at this wood paneling everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely 70s vibe to it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, my house growing up, we had the wood paneling and the whole basement, and then the den downstairs. We had those two rooms were just paneling wall to wall.
Now, this was the time that my Aunt Linda gave my father a Christmas present, and it was a box within a box within a box, and she would put some gag gift in between, but it was like big box, another box, another box. It was like a nesting egg, you know. And that's me, skinny me. He's opening. I'm helping him opening up all those boxes somewhat, get them out of the way, whatever. All right, to be a kid again. 1977 Star Wars year.
Is that you, Rex?
That's me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is me right there. That's 1978.
Look at that haircut. Ah.
Look at that haircut. Yeah. That's me right there. Skinny kid.
Yeah.
1976 bicentennial year, 50 years ago. Right there. That is me. Do I still look the same? That would be a hard no. 1975, a year earlier, with my brother and mother and father.
Are they doing anything this year for the? It's 250, right? For 26.
I think they're going to graduation picture here. One of the graduation. Look at that, Rex with some color in his hair.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. 1984 here. Here's my other graduation picture. One of them, right there. I had a picture of this, you know, that I was showing my accountant, and a couple of her young daughters came in years ago and said, "Ooh, who's the hottie?" That's Rex. I couldn't believe it. Here I am with my brother. My brother's got the big afro.
Oh,
He
okay.
had curly hair. I had straight hair, like my sister. And he was always the sharp dressed man. He looks like Mr. Staying Alive, and I'm just like t-shirt and a blue jeans, you know. But they were the nicest pair of blue jeans I owned, I'm sure. Star Wars held over for the 367th week, probably.
Yeah, it was in theaters a long time back then.
Mm-hmm. There's my Aunt Rhonda that passed away recently, and Tom behind my mother. Their oldest baby. They had their children late in life. You know, they've been married. I forget how long, but they were married in the 60s. You know, sort of latter 60s, I guess, somewhere.
Right.
Graduation picture there. A lot of my classmates says you haven't changed that much. Yeah, I have pretty strong features. So
Yeah, just your hair color mostly.
Took a picture of me right after I got up eating a banana for breakfast. There's Billy with his children and his wife, Annabeth. She really does favor Linda Carter to me, that flowing hair.
Yeah, I can see it.
But I'm going to take these with legacy.com and, put them on a hard drive or something for everybody. Uh, there's no reason why the other family members shouldn't. There's a good one. There's a good one.
Oh yeah.
She's a beauty. She is a beauty. There she is with Tom in. Yeah. Tom had those. It's wild to see them through the years. This is 1980, with the long sideburns or sometimes a mustache, beard, goatee, whatever.
Right.
There's my father. There's a good one of my father looking up.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that takes a minute to focus, I guess. But yeah, he was a great guy. He had his hair color till almost the day he died. He had a little bit of graying around the temples in the last few years of his life. But other than that, he died with his own hair color. There we're
Wow.
all hanging out. There I am on the end. Christmas time. Got some kind of football shirt on. I think that's the same picture as I saw a while ago. There, feeding the baby. Me feeding the baby. Older X picture with a hair coloring looks like young Steve Forrest, the Baron and SWAT. I know who that is. Yeah. Yep. Number 39 there. There we are at Christmas. My back turned. Opening those Christmas presents can get messy. Look at that mess.
Oh yeah.
We tore into those Christmas presents. Here's a big one that my brother got. Don't know what that was. Here we are. Let's see. This is 1974. Both wearing Arkansas shirts with numbers on them. Look at that. Look at that light there. My light, and this is 1974. She still had that up around the early 80s. I know. Rex, Mex, and Tex, Mex, Time, welcome back, amigo. Hey, Raul. Raul T in the house. There I am with my uncles. So got a lot of these, A lot of these pictures were getting food and eating or whatnot.
Right.
Really early one. Let's see. Chow Time,
Hell road.
1969. So this would have been the age that I was just a young kid, about 3 years old, three and a half years old. 1969. Eating. I guess we're over my grandma Edith's because she's there. But I would have been this age when I went to California. Right there in the red shirt.
Oh, just a
Small
little guy.
dude. 1969. And then here we are all lined up. I'm the smallest there on the end with our grandpa in front, dressed up in a suit. Welcome to the show, Mark R. Largent. How are you, sir?
Hi there, Rex. Hey, Shadow.
Hey, Mark.
Wow, we got a different camera angle with you today.
Yeah, I'm in a different part of my apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe.
and where are you located?
Oh.
You're located near Dallas, right?
Yes, I am in Dallas. Well, it's
You're in
far
Dallas.
north. It's far north Dallas, but it's still my address is still Dallas.
Did you realize that you're so close to RT Bear? He's over there in the suburbs.
Is it a suburb of Dallas? I thought he was.
No, he's
In
outside of
Austin.
Houston.
He's
Yeah,
Houston. Okay. Well, that's not too far, is it?
Everything's far in Texas.
Everything is, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you're a small country, right?
Yeah, I actually went to Houston for the first time this past year. They had a fan film festival there, and I think it was about 3.5 hours maybe to drive. It wasn't too
Oh,
bad.
well.
But yeah, I'd never been down there, and then I made the stupid mistake because I have a friend who lives in Houston, and I said, "Well, I can meet you for dinner because this thing's going to wrap up early." It ran late, and I was like, "Oh crap!" So I said, "Look, I can't stay," and I ran, and the Doomsday Machine won 2 awards, and I wasn't there to get them.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
always a bad feeling. I've done that too.
Yeah. Oh, it felt terrible. I was like, oh no, because they were trying to get me to stay, and I was like, no, I can't. I'm making my friend wait, and we did though. I didn't feel too bad because we went to this awesome steakhouse, which I can't think of the name of now, but inside in a glass case, they have the original chapel doors of the Alamo. They had all kinds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had all kinds of historical things on the walls and stuff. Lots of like government documents signed by, you know, Sam Houston and Davy Crockett. They had his signature on something, and it was
That's
really
amazing.
it was really nice. But that was like in October, and it wasn't until February that they announced that I had won. I felt like a giant heel, but to be honest, I didn't think I was going to win. So,
Well, what type of awards are we talking about? Best of show? What?
I got best fan film and I think best screenplay. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, it was. I was like, oh, I can't believe I did that. I rarely win anything.
Yeah,
So,
my senior year, they wanted to actually. I kind of was in the they wanted best of show, and I said no, I really don't want to sell the piece for $100. So I just took an honorable mention. But yeah, with my family getting ready, we were late getting there, and man, I felt like a heel. They were like, well, we could take the check back because I still got $75 for honorable mention or whatever. Yeah.
I don't. There was a guy there from Spain who had this elaborate Star Wars
Welcome back, Shadow.
Fan film that was an international thing, and I thought, well, this guy's got it in the bag. So I really didn't think that there was going to be one for me. So I was like, it was real nice. I enjoyed my time there, but they had them set up in blocks to show the things, and they just kind of got behind, and so yeah, I felt terrible about that. I do think though it made me think that you improve your odds of winning something if you show up.
Yeah.
It may not be true, but it seems like that if you're actually there, they're more inclined to give you something. But yeah, I was going to show you. I got this the other day. I went and saw the Mandalorian Grogu thing.
Oh yeah.
This
cool.
I kind of heard that they kind of got unfortunate numbers on that it hasn't been doing the numbers that they'd hoped.
Yeah, I think it's
neat.
that thing that happens when you have a TV show and you take it in the theater and people say, why am I going to have to pay to see it in the theater? Because they know it's going to be on Disney Plus in 6 months. Or
now, was that popcorn bucket? Obviously, you didn't put popcorn in it.
No,
was that thing like about $100?
No. I think it was like 40, maybe 50.
Wow.
It was still expensive. You did get a large. You did get a large popcorn with it,
but they didn't put it actually in the helmet. I'm surprised.
No. I wouldn't have done that because it gets getting popcorn grease off this thing.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and it's
absolutely.
ridiculously shiny. Just touching it, you get fingerprints all over it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but it just looked cool. So,
Well,
just,
I
Yeah,
have
they were-
something similar up here. It's that Cylon box. It was
oh,
the,
the
the,
Battlestar Galactica one, which
the
I really
Battlestar,
like.
yeah, with the lenticular
Yeah,
little, yeah.
I went to
What
this.
you got there? You showing your man boobs? What the hell?
I wish I had a nicer pair. They had a retro expo with here, and they had a bunch of Battlestar Galactica people from the old show and the new show. And actually, I may need to see if I can find that photo, but I had one of the old Battlestar Galactica Mattel handheld games,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I suddenly remembered that I had it, and I'd had it out recently. So I found it and I took it and I got Dirk Benedict Starbuck to sign
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I ended up having like a fairly long conversation with him. He's a funny guy. And he wrote on it, "This is mine," because he did not want to give it back. But I got my picture taken with him playing around with it like it's a phone or something. It was a lot of fun. I almost never do anything like that, so that was really cool.
Yeah, Dirk. I've always thought, who names their son Dirk? Is that a Hollywood name or is that his actual name?
I don't know. I've never looked it up to see. Dirk is a very strange.
It is.
Dirk
Strange.
almost
I
sounds
think
like
it's like
it's
I think it's some kind of European or Old English.
See,
or
that's what I
something.
would think. It'd be like Norwegian or something. But Benedict is an English name. But then maybe that's his fake name. I don't know. He was.
Yeah, I grew up with a kid named Dirk. He was the only one in school all the way until we
Really?
graduated.
I've never met a Dirk. I met some
Yeah,
jerks, but no.
Yeah,
Dirk.
was Dirk a jerk?
Yeah.
But no. So
now he was also on the A team.
that's right. He was face on the A team. So he had big fandom things, and he looked pretty good for being an 80-something-year-old man.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
All these action stars are like 80 or 70 something.
Yeah, that's honestly keeping me from we have the big Dallas Fan Expo. That's our big giant convention each year, and I haven't been the last few years because really the people that I'm familiar with just aren't doing it anymore.
Yeah.
They've gone on to younger things, and then they also have like this one. Believe it or not, they have Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are at it.
Mm.
So you can get your picture taken with Lethal Weapon guys, and it only costs you, I think it was almost $400 to get a photo with them.
Wow. It sounds like Stan Lee was a piker because it was like 100 something to have your picture taken with him, and their celebrities are way higher than that.
Well, that's the thing. Mel Gibson is not supposed to be at a comic book convention. But these things,
really.
they know that they can make tons.
I might pull the trigger on that because I think he's one of the greatest actors of our time because he can do, I kind of like Charlie Chaplin and other comedians. If you can do comedy, you can act. Generally, look at Robin Williams. Look at Michael Richards that we were talking to. I think he could limitedly act.
Well, he was good at humor, but it was because he had charm. He was a good leading man. He had that.
Oh, definitely.
Personality, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Alec Baldwin is going to be there too, which is a weird thing to think of.
Oh,
I mean, I guess Mel Gibson at least he was in Mad Max, so those are genre movies. But and Danny Glover was in Predator 2, I think. So
he was in the second one.
Alec Baldwin
trying to get them to do stuff. Alec Baldwin, I guess, Beetlejuice. That would be the only thing.
Alec Baldwin, Beetlejuice, but I mean, he did The Shadow. If I was,
that's right.
Have him autographed, it'd probably be him.
Yeah.
The Shadow, an early superhero movie. Yeah,
but but it's just early. Like, the last time I saw any of the original cast of Star Trek, they looked pretty bad, except for Shatner. Shatner's
Well, they
what,
got caught in that
95 or
transporter accident.
yeah, Shatner's like 95 and is still running around
Yeah.
doing crazy stuff. But
Yeah.
Walter Koenig, who plays Chekhov, looked really bad. He was moving very slow.
Well, I thought he was dead for years, and then people brought it to my attention. No, he's not dead. But I thought he'd already passed away.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
The thing I always find
like
funny
I am.
Yeah, he hasn't had hair in ages. He wears a toupee.
He did that Star Trek fan movie though. He was in that, right?
Yeah, he did a couple of those, I think.
Yeah, so he's
no.
Still Michael Dorn. I've been watching the Ben 10 stuff. Michael Dorn did. He's done a lot of animated voice work, not just for Ben 10, but Clancy Brown. He's done a lot of
Clancy Brown he did on the Adventures of Superman.
They picked the new they picked the new James Bond. Apparently, have you heard about that?
I have not heard.
The new actor. He looks like he's competent. They kind of lost me with the new Bond, and especially when they killed him off, and then they were saying that we would make 007 a black woman. They kind of lost me with that. I'm not.
I don't know if they ever said they would do that, but he lost his 007 because he left.
Yeah.
But that was just during the plot of the movie. I like Daniel Craig a lot. I do remember, I'm a big Bond fan, and Casino Royale, I remember being stunned by how he was by far the most physical Bond we'd ever had.
That was the best. Yeah, that's when they, he had to go out in the glove box and shock his heart. He was. Yeah. That was a good moment.
But
to watch him almost die.
They started out with him, like on a construction site or something with one of those parkour guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he was chasing him, and I was like, I've never seen a Bond run that fast and be that difficult, because he was younger, and so I like Daniel Craig. I thought, and I like the fact that they actually did decide, hey, we're going to do a beginning, middle, and end on this. I thought that was an interesting way to go. But it did kind of bum me out that by the time you finally get to where he's really James Bond, and you have Moneypenny, and you have the new M and the Q and all that kind of stuff, that's when the movie's pretty much ended. It's like, okay, we got him up to that point. Now we're going to kill him. I don't know. A friend of mine and I were just talking about the fact that apparently Doctor Who is doomed. That there's a rumor that the reason why they haven't is that nobody wants to take the part. It's essentially like getting on a sinking ship.
No, they went so low.
It's astonishing to me how they were able
a lot of money, and
it was going for a long, because I think it's
astonishing to you. Can you repeat
started
that?
back in 2005.
Astonishing to you that what?
That they were able to completely cripple it. To sink the whole ship, because the show had been back for 20 years and was going strong for a long time, and then boom, they just steered it right into the rocks. But I just I was going to show you, I finally started printing out covers. I'm going to put them in plastic bags with boards so that I can put them in my comic
I remember
book.
buying that one. Yeah, from Eagle Comics. Oh yeah, great Neil Adams classic cover.
Just to get
Action Comics #1,
to stick on the
that's good Batman too.
The comic book rack, as if I have these books. But so I just started.
Oh, okay. So you're going to put those on the rack.
Cut them out.
Yeah, there you go.
Put them in bags with boards and then stick them in the comic book rack. It'll look like the books are there. The thing is, with the comic book rack, it destroys real books if you put them on there.
Yeah.
I mean, you not only are they going to hit against the wires.
Yeah, that's
They're out.
why I don't have my 2 racks here. I do plan to go out there and get them at some point, but yeah, I could never find anything that to fit it. I mean, maybe get one book. I always wanted to like put, you know, it in a boarding bag, but even in a boarding bag, it won't fit in there. So you know, you have to
Plus,
put it in
mine's
there raw.
by a window, so if it gets turned to where they're facing the window too long, you're going to get them to fade, and so yeah, it's but I still, they look terrible empty. So I've been thinking for a while. So I'd saved up a bunch of reward points for
So
Amazon.
you just switched rooms and said the hell with it.
Well, I decided to use my my laptop because I thought the camera would be better, because I've had trouble in the past with freezing all the time. So it was just easier to set it up in here. But yeah, I just they look terrible empty. So this is fun. And then it is a lot harder though coming up with. When I started doing it, I thought, oh, I'm going to find a ton of covers right away, and really, I had to go looking. Then you want to kind of find them in a decent resolution so that they'll print okay. But I'd saved up a bunch of reward points, and at work we have this bonusly thing where they give you points and you can trade them for Amazon credits. So I finally got to the point where I was able to get a color laser printer for like $49. So
yeah, it's amazing how cheap some of that stuff is now. I got a Hewlett-Packard scanner and printer, still boxed up, but
it wasn't super expensive before my reward stuff. I think it was like $284 or something. Which a color laser printer.
Rewards. Now, where are you buying that from?
So, like, I've got an Amazon credit card, so I get reward points. And,
okay.
And then they have this thing at work, bonusly, where they give you points, and you can change your points into Amazon credits. So I ended up with like $250 or so worth of credit. So I used it to get that. I've always wanted to have a color laser printer. So
Mark, what have you been working on of late besides you know, the accolades and all the praise and the bowing down and you know all that?
None of that really has been happening. But the
what's your next project that's going to take you a decade to complete?
Well, I'm working on a parody of the Wolfman, the 1941 one. But I don't know if you guys saw, I did a music video last month.
I don't think I saw it, Mark.
Let me see if I can find the link. I don't know if the if Rex.
I don't know if the audio. I've got to figure this thing out. You know,
the audio thing.
Yeah. There should be a little tab there in the corner somewhere, Rex, when you get ready to play it, and it'll say audio somewhere. At least that's what I hear. I don't have that on my phone.
Let me copy the address here.
Word to your mother. Thor, Apex Comics said Thor 159 has Michael Dorn's fan letter when he was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
Make sure I've got. Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure.
You know, he was in Rocky. He uncredited, but one of Apollo Creed's friends. And he was also one of the extras.
One? In the original Rocky?
Yeah, the original Rocky. If you he was an extra on the Mary Tyler Moore show and was one of the reporters that would sit, you know, in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I sent you the link. Let's see if we can. I don't know if we can figure out how to.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not hitting the right button.
Put Mark in the driver's seat, and maybe he can bring it up on his end. I don't know.
I'm still waiting for it to come up. So this thing's still slower than monkey grass.
Mine's giving me all kinds of like, change your system settings. Okay, I've got my system settings open.
Waiting.
Do.
Let me see.
Oh. It's like we lost Rex.
Also, share tab audio is checked, so that should be good.
Right? Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. I hear people saying, yeah, you got to make sure you click that because
Is that working at all?
I'm not seeing anything yet. I've just got a little spinny wheel for Rex.
Yeah, I think Rex may still need to put it on the.
Well, it might be his computer acting up too. We've been,
Oh no!
he just
Yeah,
got kicked.
we may
Hopefully he can come back in.
have lost him. Yeah, I've tried to watch a couple of. I got tricked a couple of times into clicking on Rex's thing, and he'd be on for about a minute, but it would say it was 25 minutes.
Right? Yeah.
But he would only be on for a couple of minutes and disappear. There he is again.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
averaging like I think 6 minutes for a bunch of shows. There it would be like right around the 6 minute mark. It'd go whoop.
Okay, let's see. Let's
There
see
we
if
go,
I.
Mark. We're sharing it.
Okay, let me see if I
See
hit
if you
play.
can do that.
It works.
Oh yeah.
Well, Bill and Guy got vaporized by a robot made of tin. And Todd, he was just standing there when a boulder did him in. Old Oliver ain't here no more, got an arrow through his ears. And Kenny, he fell off the cliff on a bunch of pointy spears. If you wanna see outer space and explore the galaxy, take my advice and please think twice before joining security. Our red shirts might look spiffy and a phaser too is cool, but volunteering for a landing party takes a special kind of fool. Well, Barry stepped on a landmine and Theodore caught a bug. Mike was lunch for a giant bear and Timmy became a slug. Brian lasted for 16 hours before he fell into that hole. And Thomas, he fell in there too. Oh, may mercy bless
Enjoy that
their
droppiness, folks.
souls. If you want to see outer space and explore the galaxy, take my advice and please think twice before joining security. Our red shirts might look spiffy and a phaser too is cool, but volunteering for a landing party takes a special kind of fool. My pal Frank, he was cut in two by a laser shot from space. Anthony found it hard to see with that pancake on his face. Cornelius and Ralph and Jake frozen in a block of ice. Sam and Hank, they made history, proving lightning can strike twice. you want to see outer space and explore the galaxy, take my advice and please think twice before joining security. Our red shirts might look spiffy, and a phaser too is cool, but volunteering for a landing party takes a special kind of fool. If you want to see outer space and explore the galaxy, take my advice and please think twice before joining security. All red shirts might look spiffy, and a phaser too is cool, but volunteering for a landing party takes a special kind of fool.
I like that.
Thanks.
Hey, Mark, were those the actual names of the characters and the way they died? Like, did you go back and find?
No, I did not. I did not go to actual real deaths. I decided just to make them up.
Oh, okay.
I
was just wondering
some of 'em
because
had
everybody had a
strings.
different.
Yeah, I just thought it was fun for them to have names. But the wild thing about that one is that's almost completely AI. I took all of my
Oh,
puppets
really?
and I created these. I would like render out like the front view, the side view, the back view, the top view, and I loaded them all in. And I could actually take like have my puppets on the bridge set and tell AI replace those puppets with the AI puppets. And
Oh, cool.
it worked. And it was a lot like doing it the way I normally do it in 3D, except a lot faster. And of course, with the red shirts, I needed like 16 of them. So
Right.
to just say, take this one, change his hair color and change his face a little bit, and just keep generating more and more characters that way. So, but yeah, I'd written the song last year, like around Halloween, and I had messed with it a bunch of times trying to get it done in 3D, and it was just too much work, and I was starting to lose it. And then I came up with the idea for the space siren, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And the secret ingredient was adding mariachi to the song. There's just a little bit of the horns and stuff that's mariachi. Right. It just made the song more fun.
Well, your singing character, alien singing character, she had some moves there toward the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I got several comments on the YouTube video with people falling in love with this
little purple
girl. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I thought, well, if it's going to be a space siren, it's got to be sexy, and I went back and forth saying, is that too sexy? But I don't think it is too sexy. So, but yeah,
I love you had Spock and McCoy holding Kirk back.
yeah, and then they all of them fell over. Yeah.
So there was a crazy thing because I had them beam up, and I did that in AI too. So I'm describing to AI what I want it to be, and I'm like, it's kind of like glitter that does this, and I kind of do that. It took the glitter thing very literally, and it would work, but then there would be like extra glitter that would just fall off. So I ended up having to figure out a way to mask that out. But even the beam out was done with AI. The only things that I couldn't get to work were the ship shots. It could not deal with the ship for some reason. Yeah. Part of it is
you had one shot in there.
Yeah, well, I think there's 3 shots that have the second prize, but those are all CG. it couldn't keep it together. And even with the characters, it kept every once in a while it would turn them into like William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I would go up,
that out.
yeah, you know. Technically, you're not supposed to be able to get real people with it, but it would just every once in a while it would do it, and I was going like, well, it'd be great if I could do that and it consistently do it, but it won't. So,
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see how far I can take doing it, because if I could do this Wolfman parody, which I'm calling the Wolfman, if I could do it with the AI, then I can do hair, which you almost need to have hair for a Wolfman video. So I don't know. I'm
hair seems like it might be difficult, like flowing water, like waves to do.
Yeah, it's because with all those kind of things, you have to have simulations and stuff. And I've always just kind of steered away from it because I don't need the headache. But I like the fact that it could do the textures, the cloth and stuff for the, and even the hair that it did on this almost looks like it's yarn or something. It's like fuzzy. So it really seemed to add a lot of a production value.
Have you seen any of those Bigfoot blogs that are real popular?
Bigfoot?
Yeah, there's a whole series of them. It's Bigfoot in the woods. You know, he's got a selfie stick, and he's just doing crazy shit. He fights a bear. He meets an alien. He's always stealing food. Yeah, there's some pretty good ones. And then I think the same people are doing the Star Wars with all the stormtroopers. Have you seen those? Like,
no, I have seen the ones where they've been doing like the really photoreal fan films with like Luke and everybody, and they look like them.
Yeah, they got a whole like comedy series about these two stormtroopers that are, you know, incompetent and shit, and Vader's always on their ass. It's pretty funny.
I think there was a comic book like that one. What's that?
Mark, I mentioned earlier that Amazon just took over iPhone satellite service. That's kind of but I mean, Amazon was the first $1 trillion enterprise. You know,
do they? I mean, I guess with they still have cell towers and stuff. Wouldn't they be taking over whatever like carrier you had?
I'm just waiting on Skynet. I'm just waiting on Skynet to come out.
It's just a matter of time now.
Just a matter of time. That's why I'm being so nice to AI. You're not going to hear me. I'm not going to criticize it in any way. I'm going to be its friend.
Just in case.
Right.
I went through this whole thing, which I do not recommend doing, but eventually on the other side, I did get it. But I got these ads for Temu where you could get this Spider-Man book for free, but you had to like jump through 1,000 hoops. But I jumped through them. You had to like go every day and like say you weren't going to buy something. And then eventually I think I did have to spend $30, but I bought like a bookshelf that I wanted. But I got this, I guess it's Taschen.
Wow.
And it's a really nice book. I don't know if you can tell in the light, but the figures and stuff are embossed. I don't think it's really showing up.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Yeah, Steve Ditko, Spider-Man #1.
Yeah, it's
How many issues does that reprint? Does it have the annual in there?
Let's see.
Pretty thick book.
It is thick, and it's almost got like they
is it all in black and white, reproduced in black and white?
It's in color, but they reproduce them just by scanning the originals, so it's not that weird thing where they color them with the too bright color. But it has all the ads and everything for the issues.
Oh wow, Avengers #1 ad there.
Yeah.
Partial ad.
Let's see what the last.
That's cool.
The last issue is, well, they do have some of the original black and white art from the first.
Oh, cool.
But they it goes through Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1. So issue 19 and then annual #1. But you can see them showing
I'm
this.
sure has Amazing Fantasy #15.
They lifted up the
Spider-Man
logo off of the Amazing Fantasy and showed the original logo that was underneath. It was like webs and stuff. But you can see the paste up of it over the logo there.
Rubber glue.
Yeah. But it's a really nice book, weighs about 1,000 pounds. And so I did manage to get it for free after, I think it took like 18 days or something of remembering to go and find the thing to click on it. But I eventually did get it. So that was cool. I haven't dug into it yet, but
yeah.
But yeah, I kept feeling like I got but go ahead.
I got to get going. It's time for me to help Mama out with dinner. But have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Good seeing you, Shadow.
Take care, Shadow. See you tomorrow.
You too, Rex. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. So how many issues, Mark? I didn't quite catch that.
So it's got the first 19 issues and then the annual. So 1962 to 1964. But also got the first of the Nexus things that they just did I don't remember if it was Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but volume 1 of the Nexus stuff, and it's got a bunch of other stuff, and it looks good too. It looks again like they scanned the actual issues rather than trying to reprint them with new coloring. But I did not read Nexus when it was first coming out. I think the only thing I remember is when they did.
I got the first few issues when it came out from Capital. Started at Capital and then went over to first.
I remember they did the one that came with the floppy disk. And I think actually there was a link to download an MP3 of it so that you could listen along with that issue. But
they would put like floppy records, LPs. Eclipse Comics did an issue or two like that.
I had a Mad magazine that had one, and it had this song called It's a Super Spectacular Day, and somehow it was set up so that there were 4 different versions of the song, and where you drop the needle at the beginning would take you to a different ending. And it was a song, great, wonderful, super spectacular day. And then it would say how great it was. And then it would go until, and then it would tell you all this horrible stuff that happened. It was pretty funny. I got this.
Well, we talk. Oh, very nice. We talk about the 90s, Mark. We talk about the different, lenticular covers, or everybody had a gimmick, right? You had the chromium covers. But really, even before that, in the copper age or the 80s, you had like those little tattoo inserts, like in Amazing Spider-Man with the first appearance of Hobgoblin, It had tattoo inserts in there. There were record inserts. There were
They were like
different. Of
promotional
course,
things.
the 3D comics came back.
Yes,
You
they
know, that,
lasted for a while.
yeah, Ray Zone doing a lot of those.
Yeah.
You know, especially through Eclipse Comics. I actually got almost a whole long box of Eclipse Comics. Some titles that I'd never even seen out of Eclipse, they came from the Eclipse warehouse. So they were going out of business, and this guy had done some work for them, and they paid him off partially in comics. And I went on eBay and bought, you know, almost a whole long box of his Eclipse comics.
Yeah.
Of course, some of those Dave Stevens covers are going for a good little bit now, and I think they're just going to keep going up and up and up.
Yeah. I don't think he goes
especially
out
in
of
good
style.
shape.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, those things are getting about 40 years old now, and you know, older than he was when he passed away. Well, almost. I think he was 52, 53 when he passed away. What, far too early. I mean, great artist. He was, you know, cheesecake artist, Rocketeer, of course, fame.
Great artist.
If I could bring back one artist, you would think Jack Kirby might be the guy or somebody, but I think it would be Dave Stevens, just to see, you know, Michael Turner might be another one, but I'm,
you know,
I'd
bring back Don Newton. I love Don Newton on Batman.
Don Newton, great Batman artist.
Yeah, he was
like
when I started collecting Batman seriously. Don Newton was doing. I think he was doing Batman, and then Gene Colan was doing Detective. It was one of the other. They were back and forth between the two artists.
Yeah.
But I love Don Newton's work, and he died really young too. I think he was in his 40s.
I'll tell you one artist that I would like to have seen more. He did a Killer Croc, an early Killer Croc story. Maybe did a cover or two. Dan Jurgens. And when I met Dan, I said, you should do more Batman. Of course, he wound up doing a lot of Superman.
Yeah, he made his bones doing Superman. I don't know. That's an interesting idea, because there was a guy, and I can never remember his name, that was big at Atlas and Timely, but he died right before they started doing the superheroes.
Marvel?
Yeah, Marvel. Mm-hmm. He was Stan's go-to guy. Stan said he could draw anything very fast. I want to say his first name
wasn't Larry Lieber, right?
No,
Larry Lieber,
Larry
who's still alive, his brother.
Yeah. No, it was this
he's
guy.
Still alive. It's Stan Lee's brother.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name was. Mike something, and he, I think he fell in between the tracks on a subway, or he fell into the subway and got run over or something.
Mm-hmm. So he did a lot of the Atlas monster stuff, right?
Right. He did a lot of their westerns and a lot of their different types of things, but he wasn't alive by the time they were doing superheroes again. And Stan always wondered what he would have done with them. Of course, that gave that probably is what gave Jack Kirby a bigger thing. If that had been Stan's go-to guy before, he may have leaned on him instead of having to lean on Jack.
But I think he made a good call, though. You know,
well, he made the only call.
Kirby proved himself. You know,
yeah, Kirby definitely. But it would have been interesting to see. That's an interesting what if if that guy had lived into doing it. But
I've got some old Atlas stuff. I've got some old Atlas stuff. I'll have to look through it. I know Dan Atkins was big, you know, for them while they were in Atlas, especially in the Western, like you were talking about. And he died just a few years ago, not too long ago, a decade ago, maybe. I'm not sure.
Joe Maneely.
Okay. I think I have seen his name. Yeah.
Prolific artist from Marvel's 50s predecessor Atlas died on June 7th when he accidentally fell between the cars of a moving commuter train. Widely considered.
What year was that?
1958. Widely considered Stan Lee's favorite artist, Maneely's tragic death at the age of 32 is often viewed as a turning point in comics history. The what if being Stanley frequently stated that had Meneely survived, he likely would have become a foundational architect of the Silver Age of Marvel Comics, potentially alongside or even instead of Jack Kirby. Meneely had been out to dinner with fellow comic colleagues in Manhattan. On his way home to New Jersey at night, he accidentally fell between the cars of the train and was killed. Because he had lost his glasses early in the week, it is believed that he misstepped in the dark while going between cars to get some fresh air. So yeah, it's interesting. That's one of the big things. So maybe you could bring Joe Meneely back. Maybe he would have been terrible at superheroes. Who was it? Was it Bill Everett? Who was the? Well, Wally Wood wasn't great at the superheroes either.
Yeah.
There were some of the good artists, just that wasn't their style. I think, John Romita Sr. kind of reluctantly got into superheroes.
He was doing romance comics.
Yeah, he preferred to draw realistic people.
Spell his last name for me, would you? And I'll see if I can.
Maneely. Let me see if there's a.
I'm sorry, your speaker squeaked there just for a second. So we got M-A-N what?
Maneely.
Okay. Yeah, I have seen his name. I've seen his work. Yeah, I'll see if I can gather up some stuff on him and show it.
Yeah, I don't know that he was. Yeah, I don't know that he was a great artist. I just know Stan was really taken by him, and Stan said that he could stare at a page, and he would see the page. He'd work out the whole page in his head, and then he'd just draw it like he was tracing it, like he could imagine it on the page.
Yeah, the layout and everything.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've looked at some of his work, and it is kind of weird looking, but who knows with what kind of inker or whatever. But I think the big thing was that he was very productive. He could draw pages fast and with a lot of detail. Yeah. And, obviously that's what they were looking for, were people who were reliable and could crank these things out. But
it's you always have to keep that in your back of your mind, whether you're looking at Kirby, Stan, Steve Ditko, any artist, Jim Aparo, a long-standing artist. They were on a deadline. So what are we seeing their very best work?
No.
Maybe I think sometimes a rush job, you do your best work, but very rarely. Sometimes some artists, if they take too long a time, it's not necessarily better.
True.
If they just crank it out.
I would think they probably
kind of a give and take.
I would think they probably.
It's amazing.
They could say these 3 pages of this book I'm really excited about, and I want to put some time into it, so I'll rush through some of these other ones.
Yeah. I think by and large, it's less of a factor with writers because you're doing it like a soap opera in installments. And, depending on how proficient you are, I think what we've gotten, from the 60s on up through the 80s for sure is amazing. Some of the storylines, some of the big story arcs, some of the artwork, just incredible.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein on a monthly.
No.
You're not going to get that quality of work.
No, and
anything but a portfolio.
Yeah. But you had these titles that had to come out. And they did do the what did they used to call those? They used to get people to do fill-in issues that they just keep in inventory or whatever. Maybe they were called inventory stories. They would have them done so that if an artist was late, they could they could stick one in.
Yeah, or they would look. George Perez is taking a little longer, whatever. I mean, I see that the occasional issue where somebody comes in and does one issue and come back. And then one thing, if they're probably really in a pinch, they would center a story around a reprint occasionally.
Yeah. And that's what
I know they did that with Avengers.
Yeah, they weren't thinking in terms of this is history. They were thinking we're putting out comics, kids read them and throw them away. They weren't.
That's true, but I mean, when you consider some of the cosmic arcs that Jim Starlin got to do and other artists,
and those guys,
it's amazing.
Those guys were the first generation of comic book fans because they'd grown up with the Golden Age books.
Yes.
And they were coming into the business and they loved comic books in a way that the guys before them had not. It was a job for those guys. These guys,
and you can tell. I mean, the cream that rose to the top were the fans. I mean, John Byrne, his first book was Fantastic Four #5, the very first appearance of Dr. Doom, and you can tell he's a fan. You can just tell it. That George Perez, he was a fan. They put their heart and soul into their work, and
those guys, Roy Thomas, all those guys came in with a love for these characters that, for the old artist, it was a paycheck and they may have enjoyed what they were doing, but they weren't fans of it. They hadn't grown up with it. And these guys had, and they loved it and had lots of ideas. And then I think each generation we've steadily declined on that. They're fans of the fans of the fans of the comics. And
I know with my work, that's what I'm trying to do is bring back that epic feel of comics that, man, this is good stuff, and I think I hit it just right about mid 70s. And then we got the direct market in the 80s, and you got like projects like Dark Knight and other things that had more adult themes. It seemed like the whole hobby was kind of growing with me because you got more mature.
It started aging.
Storylines and things.
It started aging instead of staying still for kids, which was great if you were like us at the time and got to stick with comics getting older.
Well, but I mean, the kids stuff
for business. It was bad.
Well, you can't stick with the 50s. Batman meets the aliens from the chameleon, rainbow-colored aliens.
Yeah, you don't do that, but you do whatever the 80s, 90s, and stuff equivalent of that was. And instead, they went for I enjoyed all the the more mature stuff, more sophisticated.
Admit it, Mark. You read Star Comics. Admit it.
I did not read Star Comics. But the thing is, you couldn't just shoehorn these comics are for kids. Kids don't want comics for kids. It's better if all the comics are for kids, and that way they think they're getting something out of it. The worst thing you can do is say this is for kids, because then kids.
But don't you think that if you just don't you think you age out of that? If the writing is not engaging, more adult.
That was the point. Yeah, you were supposed to age out of it, because now what they have is they did the comics so that now the audience grew older, and there's not a new generation of kids that are really embracing it the way that.
Well, I think one big brainer, and it's probably not all on this, but the system of newsstand distribution that have been around for decades had went away almost overnight within about 5 years.
That certainly changed things because
you can't go into a pharmacy, you can't go into a grocery store, you can't go into any bookstore that covered had a spinner rack or had them on display and bump into them and go, wow, these are great.
And conversely, the publishers no longer had to try to get your attention with the covers because they weren't doing that. They also didn't have the Comics Code to worry about anymore because that went away once they could get into to direct
Right.
sales. And so, yeah, they kind of shoehorned in. But I have read, because Jim Shooter did a thing talking about the decision to go to the direct market. He said that the newsstand distribution was constantly ripping them off, that
Yeah,
these distributors would not even put their books out on shelves and then return them all. That they were, they would lie and say none of them sold.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It wasn't a great system for them.
So I mean, it's back in the slave labor days of the 30s, whatever, and 40s, I mean, that system had been around a long time. And yeah, there was even a secondary
that
market.
distribution system was all the mafia. That was set up during when they were running booze during.
I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to get a hit put out on me, but sure. Yeah, we could, you are correct in that.
Yeah. Well, when you read those things too, where these magazine publishers figured that if they put out comics, it looked like they were putting out family entertainment, and it would contrast the fact that they were putting out nudie magazines. So
I read, Mark, that a lot of American comics made it overseas to different destinations, say like the UK. They would bundle up those and magazines and other things, and ships would use those for ballast in the bottom of their ships. And then once they got to their destination, they would unload that stuff and sell it.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
That would make sense because they essentially had to pulp it when it was all newsstand and you had returns. But
yeah, and you would generally, instead of using the whole cover, they would just strip off the logo. And I have some of those, what I call coverless, because half, part of the logo, the logo's missing. But there was a secondary market there for coverless comics. They were being resold for.
They weren't legal, but they were there. Yeah,
they weren't legal.
I remember going in the back room of a fabric store in Tupelo, Mississippi, and they had boxes of comics that I think were 5 cents each, and they didn't have covers. And I picked up a few comics. I was a little kid; I didn't have a lot of money.
And if you just want some great reading material, that's a cheap way to get it.
Oh yeah. I mean, they read just as good as the ones with the cover, and they were older ones too. I think too. I remember being. But
I'm going to have to find my Fantastic Four annual #1. I think that's probably the first book that Fantastic Four, at least part of the story, was reprinted. It's the last story in it. It's graded a whopping 0.5 CGC. And speaking of grading, and the only reason is it looks like $1,000 book. It really does. When you look at the condition of it, it's probably would be around the 6.5 or higher. It really is stellar. Early Spider-Man on the cover, early appearance, a crossover Spider-Man. The only thing wrong with it is the back shoe ad. The back cover is missing, and who's going to be turning it around looking at it? And I got it for $110, I think. That's a book that you hardly see, and especially in that condition.
Yeah. Well, if you were collecting Fantastic Four, that would get you that issue, and for a lot cheaper than what it would if it was in good shape. I was digging through some of my new movie purchases. I got Top Cat, which I didn't see much as a kid. They only did one season. It was a primetime show.
Well, a lot of Hanna-Barbera's was only one season. Space Ghost, Herculoids, Birdman.
Yeah, they did
Top Cat, like you said. Yeah.
After this guy did 100 Blondie movies, he did a TV season. And
hey, Billy.
That's one of the great Gildersleeves there, and as a guest star. I haven't even opened this yet, but it's the 4K of Ben-Hur. I'm looking forward to that. Been getting a bunch of,
and that's the Charlton Heston, right? Yeah. I watched that and listened to the commentary recently. Not the 4K, but the one that I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hold That Ghost.
Abbott and Costello, Hold That Ghost. Yeah.
Meet the Mummy.
The Mummy. Yeah.
Abbott and Costello.
Now, was that Lon Chaney? Was that Lon Chaney Jr. doing the Mummy?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I know Glenn Strange did the Frankenstein in
He did
Meets Frankenstein.
Yeah, I don't see
Glenn Strange being the bartender Sam in Gunsmoke for many, many seasons of Gunsmoke.
Yeah, Boris Karloff was in
Jekyll and Hyde.
And then here's Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Which, this is only the second time that Bela Lugosi played Dracula. He only played Dracula in the original Dracula and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Well, Lon Chaney was the only actor that got to play the Wolfman, Dracula, the Mummy, and what was the other one? Frankenstein. So he played all four of those.
Yeah, he played all of them.
Major Universal characters. He's the only actor to do it. Oh,
This,
Private Benjamin, yeah.
Yeah, this movie it never got a DVD release or anything. They finally put out a Blu-ray. And you know what? I didn't like it that much. I remember liking it as a kid, but I think that maybe I liked the TV show. The Phantom on 4K. I love The Phantom.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing that they're putting some of these stinkers on Blu-ray.
No, I love The Phantom.
Tarzan the Phantom wasn't too good. And his mate. See, they would never title it like that today.
Well, this one was done right before the Hays Code was enacted. There's a lot of
early 30s. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only was Jane naked swimming underwater, but this was shocking to me. They filmed this, of course, in California. They got a lot of African-American women to go topless in this to look like African women. That was shocking.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera I never heard of. Loopy de Loop. This was.
Oh yeah, he's Canadian.
He is Canadian. Yes.
Yeah.
These were theatrical shorts that Hanna-Barbera did, and he has a French accent. And his thing is that he is a wolf, but he does not want to be seen as a wolf.
Does he now? Where did you get these? Where did you order these from?
This is from the Warner Archive. I've been getting them off Amazon, but Warner Archive has been putting out a lot of these type titles.
Yeah, you'll probably never see them in stores. Yeah.
I still haven't opened and watched this, which is A Boy and His Dog.
Don Johnson of Miami Vice fame later.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an early thing. He also did some Gunsmoke when he was in latter seasons. He did some Gunsmoke.
Haven't gone into this one yet. It's Clark Gable.
Dust.
Red Dust.
Jean Harlow. Yeah.
And I finally went ahead and got the entire Incredible Hulk series on Blu-ray. And I've been watching. Some of these were great. Like the pilot, the first hour one. No, it's on Blu-ray.
But I mean, when it was on DVD, they had lenticular covers.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. I've got all 4, 5 seasons. I assume that has the movies, or is that separate?
Yes,
they did two Incredible Hulk movies.
Yeah, it does have the two. And technically, the first 2 episodes of the Incredible Hulk were TV movies. The original pilot and the second episode were both TV movies before they went to series with it. Which the $6 Million Man did the same thing, where they did, I think, 3 TV movies before it became a series. But that original pilot for the first Incredible Hulk is really good. And then I think it was the first episode of the second season where he gets married again and she has cancer. May have been called Home. I can't remember.
Well, earlier, I and Shadowhawk were talking about, and you may remember it in the late 80s, they did The Return of the Bionic Man. yesterday was the
Yes.
anniversary of that release, the return of Bionic Man and Bionic Woman. Special.
Yes,
that
and they
did
had
when
they had
were old.
adult kids who were also bionic, and Sandra Bullock.
They had a boy and they had a dog that was partially bionic too, didn't they?
Jamie Summers had a German Shepherd.
And-
was bionic.
And then I guess Sasquatch
Sandra
Bigfoot
Bullock played.
was
Yeah,
a
Sandra
robot.
Bullock played their daughter in one of those TV movies. She was very young.
Yeah.
But I got to go and see Lee Majors at one of these shows, and I got him to sign my $6 Million Man doll, but he was not doing pictures that day. I was really bummed because I really wanted to get a picture of him holding my $6 Million Man. But
I've still got my $6 Million Man.
No, you must be in your 50s, and I said, yeah, I'm in my 50s.
Do you remember? This was an earlier comment. Steve Forrest did the Baron and on SWAT. He was the main guy in SWAT.
The Baron, but I do remember SWAT. He was currently
he did.
there. Was he the main character?
Steve Forrest did several things in Gunsmoke as well. He was a bad guy in that. Even made a return.
Baron? I don't remember that.
The Baron, yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it was maybe one season. It was very quickly. He said Lee Majors is 86, living outside of Houston, Texas.
Okay, maybe that's why he came to this show. He was close, not too far away. He and what's Jamie Summers? What's Lindsay Wagner? They were both there. And you know who was also there was the guy from St. Elsewhere, the guy who did the voice of Kit on Knight Rider.
Oh, okay.
And he was a doctor on St. Elsewhere. He's like in his late 90s. And he and his wife are still alive. They've been married for something like 75 years or something. Crazy.
Wow, that is crazy, especially for a Hollywood marriage.
Oh,
yeah.
Who's that guy's name?
You don't see that very often. Well, Mark, I'm going to get out of here. I got to go to work in about an hour. So
okay. Well, it's good seeing you again, Rex. Glad to have you back in business again.
Well, it was a little glitchy, a little robot-y. I got kicked once, but it's not like the other day. I think it was like 4 times or 3 times, and then I came back in to shut the thing off, But right now I've got the side of my computer off. It's 16 years old. It's limping along. I've got a fan on it. I don't know if you can hear it, but
no, I can't.
I'm gonna mess with the audio. Oh, I can hear that. I can hear that. Yeah. So it's going full speed to keep the power thing from overheating. That's why I was only getting a couple minutes out of each broadcast. It would overheat and shut off, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks, Mark, for coming on.
No problem. Good to see you again.
You want to say the magic words? Do you remember the magic words?
Keep collecting.
Oh! Take care, all. We'll see you tomorrow on the 4th.